put episode numbers, because who knows what episode this will be, of the Bogdan Knows Stuff About Conferences and Richard Knows Stuff About Computers and That's Awesome podcast. It's still a working title. And today I want to talk about something that I think I'll probably do a lot of talking on, but I would like Bogdan to chip in. Another piece of advice that I found on LinkedIn. So this is specifically AI, and I think we're going to be more practical today. So spend some time every day scanning what's new in AI, not general AI news, specific tools that could replace a manual workflow in your event stack. For example, a new AI video editor, a better meeting transcription tool, a matchmaking algorithm update. So this, okay, let me just leave it for you, Bogdan, to tell me what you think people should be doing every day, and then I'll show you what I think they should do to prove that I know way more than you do. So go ahead.
I think it's a weird one because things move at an extremely fast pace, so it's very easy to fall down a rabbit hole or feel that you've missed everything, which happens to both of us quite a few times because things change. But it's more keeping up to date. So I would say it's very much a weekly, not necessarily a daily 10-minute thing. And it's just trying to figure out, using, for example, Perplexity, if you pay for it, or using Claude Cowork to give it a very simple task and say, what's new in the news of B2B events, my vertical, my size of company, everything else. Try to find specific news around make a list of your event tech stack and competition, see what's coming out, and take it with a pinch of salt because most of them are marketing.
Was my screen not on the whole time? Or is it on right now?
It was on. It's
so
just...
you've got 2 Fathom recorders now.
Yes.
Jesus. Anyway, technology confuses me. So when you're in your project, the reason that I do this is because I'm going to start a conversation with Claude, and I'm going to say, I want to create a documentation that explains all the processes in our organization that I would like to improve or not. And you'll have to invest a bit of time in this. You need somebody who can take an hour or so to do this. You will start by saying, I don't know how to prompt, because a lot of people get stuck here because they just type something kind of too simple or not clear enough because they think Claude, I think people just don't know how to talk to Claude. You have to talk to it like you're sending an email to someone. Think of it in the sense of like you're sending an email to your insurance company to explain a problem. Like you really have to explain the details. So I don't know how to prompt. Can you please help me to get started? What do you need to know? And then I'm not going to do it because it knows that we're Visual Hive, so it's going to ask Visual Hive specific questions. So it would ask you, okay, well, tell me about your company. How big is it? What position do you have, etc. Go through the conversation with Claude, and then start getting Claude to produce documents. Let's see if I can get it to do one. Here's one I did earlier. Probably not. Oh, I can. I bet I can actually. So let's say you've had a conversation. I'm just going to show you this one because whatever. And then you go to this. So say it produces some lovely document that explains everything about your company. It might look like this. It's called Markdown. So Markdown is a language that AI understands better. So this is the right way for it to make documents. Not like, I wouldn't make a docx. Actually, maybe tell it specifically, please write Markdown, because otherwise it's going to make a docx, and then it's a waste of time. It's too big and it's not that well understood by AIs. Anyway, it writes the document. Then you go to the document at the top next to copy. You've got a down arrow. You click add to project. It's going to put it in. I'll move it so that you can see. I'll change that project to, where is it? What did I call it? AI something. There we go. So let's move it. And let's add the project. And then when you go back to your project, yeah, it's there. So let's say that's like company overview.md. And then with that, start a new or continue the conversation or start a new conversation and say, right, I want to specifically talk about ops. That's where I work in. That's what I want to solve problems for. Please ask me the questions so that we can make the document that explains our ops processes. So it'll say, where do you store data? Do you use Google Sheets? How do you share data between people in the team? How do you manage updates? How do you manage notifications, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And then it produces the document. Document goes in here. Once you've done that for what you consider to be the processes and context that you want to get AI solutions for, then come back to this regularly, the same project, and say, what new tools can you find in the web, AI or other, that will help me with automating some of the most important tasks in my org. Then it's going to go and do a web search. It'll find whatever the most recent thing is, do 20, 30 different results, and then look at the documentation that's in the files and say, okay, based on the files, I should look for something that's to do with Google Sheets. So let's look up what the latest AI technology is with Google Sheets. Let's see what Google Gemini is doing at the moment, et cetera, et cetera. And it can give you that report every day with the context of your company. So this is like night and day between just going into Claude and starting a conversation and trying to get it to understand, or setting up a project that kind of creates your own custom Claude that knows everything about your company and all the dirty secrets inside of all the, all the good and bad things that you're doing. Like you have to just admit, yeah, we're really disorganized when it comes to Google Sheets. And when there's a change in a Google Sheet, nobody alerts anybody about it. And we have to find out by accident, and it causes a lot of issues. That's the best thing you can do, because it's going to give Claude loads of context that every time you ask it about new tools every week or whatever, it's going to potentially find you something one week that will completely blow that problem out of the water. So this Claude Projects is just, I can't talk enough about it. I'll let Bogdan talk.
The project thing is crucial, and I think it's a fantastic start, and you should start there if you haven't played with Claude. I've been playing with Cowork in the last few weeks, and you can from Claude, and you can do the same thing more or less automated every morning. The challenge there is that you have to create a folder with all that Markdown files, because Cowork doesn't have projects, so it looks in a specific folder. So the projects folder, it's something on your computer, and you can do that.
Hold on. Okay, so that would be then the concept would be that you have a folder filled with documents, and then use instructions. So this is something people don't use, like use system instructions in Cowork, then to say to support you with your conversations, you should check the docs folder for instruction, for context on internal company processes or something like that. So then if the instructions are right, it means that Cowork goes there first before it answers your question. Is that what you're talking about?
You're talking about the instructions in the projects. Cowork has instructions as well. And Cowork can do things like write you an email or create a file that you have all these updates in, rather than having the chat. It's just a slightly different way, and you can program it to do it at 9 a.m. every morning, or 9 a.m. on a Friday morning, for example.
And I would imagine that you can also then put in that docs folder your branding guidelines. For example, if you ask the marketing department, please give me the branding guidelines, stick that in the folder. It means when you ask it to write an email or a LinkedIn post or something, it's going to use the branding guidelines to word it the right way, put the right links, put the right tags in. So then that saves a lot of hassle for people who might just want to make a quick LinkedIn post promoting the event.
Absolutely. So it's if Cowork, I mean, start with Claude, start exactly what you said. If you don't give it context, Cowork and Claude are shit, regardless how much you want to do with it. But if you spend that hour and a half over a day or two, if you don't have it linked to it to map out what you have, then both Claude and Cowork can work to do magic things. Cowork can create files on your computer, so it can work with Excel spreadsheets or things like this. As you've mentioned previously or after, please make sure that the GDPR thing is compliant, anonymize data and all of that things. And if you don't know how to do it, just ask Claude. I have a folder that needs to be anonymized. How can I do that?
Yeah, I would say, like, when it comes to GDPR stuff, if you're based in Europe or the UK, definitely we're not going to go into it because it's a really long discussion, but you need to have a think about that. Talk to Claude about it first, about what Bogdan said. How can I anonymize folders? How can I anonymize the documents? So that you're not giving away any internal private information that's going to be stored with Anthropic or OpenAI in the case of Microsoft, probably, because they're using ChatGPT, I think, behind the whole thing.
Yes.
Or it's the new Microsoft AI that I haven't heard anything recently about, but what was it, Kai or something like that?
It's still OpenAI framework, so
okay. Anyway, everyone should just use
hope.
Anthropic. Sorry, it's the best. So just that's my. It might not be true again in 2 weeks' time, but like today, 1st of April, 2026, is the best. So anyway,
Yeah, and it's not a joke.
cool. Well, I'm done. That was much faster. Well done.
That was